Hello, good morning, my dear students. Today we discuss the Hindu dated September 13. We all know that for the All India examinations, newspaper analysis is a necessary thing. Why? Because questions based on current events are asked for all the bank staff selection examinations. Nipah breaks out again in Kerala, claims 2 lives. Nipah is a very potent virus, unlike the corona virus, the pandemic that we experienced 2 years ago. Nipah's killing capacity is much more than coronavirus. But if you try to understand the nature of viruses, you can understand that the more potent the capacity of the virus, the less would be the capacity to spread. Corona was a very mild virus, so it has a capacity to spread very fast. Nipah's killing capacity is much more, so its spreading capacity will be less. We very effectively contained Nipah outbreak a few years ago, even though we lost 17 lives in the last outbreak. We could effectively contain Nipah within the district of Calicut. This time too it has broken out in Calicut. The National Institute of Virology has confirmed the presence of Nipah virus in Calicut. National Institute of Virology is located in Pune. Retail inflation eases, food prices still bite. It is another news item. Inflation is nothing but rise in price for common man. Economists would say it is too much of money chasing too few goods. Inflation eats up our savings. Inflation reduces our purchasing capacity. Inflation, if not within the tolerant level, will be harmful to the economy. Both the sellers and buyers would be confused when to buy or sell. So inflation has to be within a limit. The government of India has dictated to Reserve Bank of India that inflation must be kept within 6%. So that is the acceptable level of inflation. But thanks to unseasonal rains and all, there are price variations on food. So what next is everyone is looking at? Will there be interest rate hike to contain inflation and all? The next is a panel directs Karnataka to continue with water release for next 15 days. It's about the Kaveri water dispute. We know that the how to share Kaveri water is a matter of dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka's water must be released from Kabini Dam in Karnataka to Mettur Dam in Tamil Nadu. The Kaveri Water Regulation Committee has directed Government of Karnataka to release 5,000 cusecs of water to Tamil Nadu for the next 15 days. Another very important major news item is though tragic, is the flood in Libya. It is in the city of Derna in Libya. The villain was the Storm Daniel. The name of the storm is Daniel. Storm Daniel is the villain that has created huge floods in the state of Libya, the country of Libya. It is said that more than 10,000 people from many villages washed out, and it is suspected that they have washed out into the sea. Now I move on to the center page. Excellent recipe of articles. First, the editorial, Probe and Probity. This is regarding the arrest of former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu by the State Vigilance Department, Anti-Corruption Department. Chandrababu Naidu is jailed in the central jail in Rajamundry. All political vendetta. Southern states are corrupt. Of course, the corruption in the southern states are reported in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. All the governments they're rich in resources, so quite naturally corruption levels are very high. So the former chief minister is arrested. The next is prior approval requirement for initiating corruption probe is not desirable. If a corruption charge against an officer in the government from the level of joint secretary is to be investigated, then it requires government's permission, prior permission. The Hindu says that. There was a court verdict, Supreme Court verdict regarding that recently. The Hindu says that that is a bad idea. Read. Drop the bad idea of simultaneous elections. Recently, the Government of India appointed a committee under the chairmanship of former President of India, Sri Ramnath Kovind, to probe the possibility of conducting simultaneous elections to the parliament, states and the local bodies. We know that there is a three-tier governance system available in India. There is a central government, state governments and the local self-governments. If elections are conducted simultaneously, then we can reduce the cost of elections. The other thing that the government says is that the country will not be in an election mood all the time, so that bureaucracy won't be paralyzed if elections are conducted simultaneously. Otherwise, the bureaucracy will be paralyzed for a longer period of time. Whenever elections are announced, bureaucracy will be paralyzed. Anyway, this is only one side. There are plenty of things on the other side. You are giving a fixed term for 5 years. Then there will not be any check and balance. The multi-party democracy will end. So these are the things that are pointed out. Please read. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita needs a relook. This is an article written by V.G, a former Indian police service officer. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. See, the three major criminal laws in the country, the IPC, the Indian Penal Code, CRPC, the Criminal Procedure Code, and the Evidence Act, these are going to be amended. The bill has been mooted in that respect in the Indian Parliament. It is going to be a very contentious issue. So of course, there is no doubt that the laws are to be modernized in tune with the requirement of the modern times. We know that IPC was enacted in 1860, the Evidence Act was enacted in 1872, and the CRPC in 1972-73. So these laws require improvements, but this is going to affect the entire criminal jurisprudence. So we have to be very careful. There will be big debate that must take place in the parliament. So please read the article. Farmers to approach Supreme Court against Indo-US deal on poultry. Listen, India gave a lot of concessions to United States of America in the recently concluded G20 summit, and in the sidelines of the G20 summit there were negotiations between Indian Prime Minister and the American delegation, in which we reduced the import duty of American apples to India by 20%, which is going to be a hit below the belt for the Indian Kashmiri apple farmers. Similarly, chicken legs will be imported to India. Listen, in America, the chicken breast is very popular and chicken legs are not that popular. People don't take chicken legs. So they have got surplus chicken legs. Now the government of India has permitted American chicken farmers to export their chicken legs to India. This is again going to be bad news for the Indian chicken farmers. So they have decided to move the Supreme Court against the move of the government of India. Closely follow. Supreme Court refers petitions challenging Section 124A to a larger bench. Section 124A provides for charges against sedition. It is an archaic law. Section 124A say under Section 124A people can be arrested and prosecuted for the charges on sedition. So it is an archaic law. It is a British written law. Modern nations do not put the charge of sedition on people. Those who oppose Article 124, Section 124A of the IPC says that there are other provisions, milder provisions of 121, 122 and 123 of IPC that would cater to actions against the state. So 124A must be deleted. This is what the opposition people say. A case is in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has, the Chief Justice of India has referred the case to the larger constitutional bench, a 5-member bench. Now the 5-member bench will decide on the constitutionality of Section 124A. South Korea is keen on joining Quad. The South Korean envoy says, we know that Quad is a group of India, Australia, United States of America and Japan. It is a kind of a military alliance. It is a counter to China for sure. Now South Korea also wants to join. In the last newspaper analysis also I spoke in detail about Quad. So we have to closely wait what is going to happen. Say bye to diesel, Nitin Gadkari, the surface transport minister. During one of the meetings recently, he said that he would talk to the finance minister and probe the possibility of imposing 10% additional GST on diesel engines, diesel cars, diesel vehicles. All of a sudden, the stock value of automobile companies came down. But later on he said he was just telling out his displeasure on continuance of diesel engines. Rather, it is only in the primary stage. Anyway, please read. Diesel engines, we are going to say goodbye to diesel engine in the upcoming years, not completely. Of course, goods vehicles have to ply on diesel engines in the foreseeable future, but passenger cars and all, diesel engines may slowly vanish. North Korea's Kim Jong-un visits Vladimir Putin in Russia. We all are looking forward to, the world is looking forward to the outcome of the meeting, whether North Korea would supply armaments to Russia in their fight against Ukraine. Go through that. MotoGP Bharat is going to be in UP. UP is Greater Noida in the Buddha International Circuit. Very important. So here I wind up today's newspaper analysis. My analysis will be only a guideline to your reading. It is not a substitute to your reading, I remind you. Make sure that you spend good quality time in reading the newspapers. Don't ever consider that reading of the newspaper or investing time on newspaper is a waste of time. That is not the case. Rather, you would be improving silently. Thank you very much. Have a very nice day.